And the FBI is also serving search warrants on some of the nation's largest internet service providers. They're eager to learn more about an email account that they think some of the suspected terrorists may have used. Also, they're looking in Pennsylvania, where a landlord said he thought he saw some airline technical documents in a hotel room, or rather in a room rented by a suspicious person. So the FBI is checking that out as well, Tom. So many leads, among them the fact that the hijackers apparently used both cash and credit cards that also left behind a trail of evidence. So unlike normal investigations like this, where the FBI has lots of leads but nothing very solid, they say tonight they have about 2,000 leads, many of them they consider quite promising and productive.
All right, thanks very much, NBC's Pete Williams tonight. We're going to go to Boston now to Chris Hansen, who is a Dateline investigative reporter, and he's a member of a task force that we've organized here on terrorism for journalistic efforts. Chris, it appears that this was a fairly, until they got into the air, that this was a fairly careless group of people, but then they may not have cared because they knew they were going to die in these hijackings.
Well, that's exactly right, Tom. As Pete mentioned earlier, you know, there was this car that has been found that the two brothers have been linked to now, two of the hijackers, according to federal authorities. On the one hand, you have to wonder if you're going to pull off this massive terrorist plot, do you really want to get into a scuffle with another airline passenger in a parking garage? But, you know, apparently these people didn't care. But that's how we're starting to piece together the backbone of this case. For instance, we know because this passenger called after he found out what happened at the World Trade Center. He gave authorities information about these two men he described as being of Arabic descent. He described the car. Federal investigators were able to take a look at that car. They found flight manual type documents in Arabic. That car has been seized, and you can bet that federal authorities are going over it with a fine-tooth comb, looking for any other evidence they can find. The other development this evening here in Boston, of course, that big, almost raid-like operation that took place at the Copley Plaza Westin Hotel, not too far from here. It was almost like a SWAT team going in. Investigators had received a tip that there were 3 people staying there. There was a connection to a credit card. The name was similar to a suspect that they were hunting for in connection with this case. They weren't taking any chances. They evacuated the hotel, bomb-sniffing dogs. The people were detained, not officially arrested, and late this evening they were released. And Tom, I think we're going to see some of this as we go along here. You know, they can't be right on every raid, but there is a significant amount of information that's being developed here in Boston, and I think we're going to see some more successful operations tomorrow, Tom.
All right, thanks very much. Dateline's Chris Hansen, an investigative reporter in Boston, where there has been a great deal of law enforcement activity today.